And we're live. Welcome to Whiskey Watches and Wheels, the #1 podcast in Fuck It, Thailand. I'm the phenomenal Matt Green. Boys, introduce yourselves.
I am Casey.
I'm James.
I'm Kevin.
We're getting better. We're getting better.
There's
How's
so
everyone
much
doing this fine
excitement
evening?
so far.
I know. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing good.
Super tired.
Are you really?
Yes.
Busy.
Casey's tired, man. He's got a lot going on.
That's what happens when people quit.
I know it.
You start
just
getting
doubles your workload.
pummeled.
Yeah. Kevin, how's the SC buddy?
Have we even talked about that yet?
I think we maybe mentioned it, but I mean,
Now's as good a
in
time as
passing.
ever.
Yeah,
we mentioned it in passing.
You have
I don't even
possession.
think
Tell
I
the
did.
audience,
Okay,
buddy.
hold on.
Yeah.
Let me move my light here.
Tell the audience.
So, oops. Let's see here. There it is.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty, man.
So, I bought a car from Dave at Sonderworks, one of James' friends, and I kind of semi-resto mod it, I guess you would say. Complete new interior. It was supposed to be a top-end rebuild. Then it ended up, they couldn't get a stud out. Ended up being complete motor rebuild. A little bit of paint work. And I got it in, and I can't leave anything alone. So I went ahead and, I checked some things, and it needed some brakes.
Mr.
What
I can
is
make
it?
that.
But wait,
Yeah.
What is it? What is it for the people who can't see?
It's a 1980 911 SC Wysock package. So they made 500, 250 in gray metallic, and 250 in I believe it's a gold color.
Metallic gold.
But there's some that have been, I guess, destroyed or whatever. So there's about 200 of each color. It's a very unique interior color combo. It's Doric gray, which is almost like a gray, but with a little bit of
Off-white.
purple or lavender.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah.
I know you didn't say it, but I heard it's Dork
Fuchsia?
Gray.
Doric, yeah. And it has maroon piping, but the carpet is a reddish orange color.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they just took shit that they had laying around and put it in these cars, honestly.
Porsche wouldn't do that.
Yes, but what I did is I actually went with a basket weave burgundy carpet with gray piping to match the actual piping on the interior. So, and we went with more of if you think gray, we went with a traditional gray interior. Phenomenal job on the interior. He did the front liner as well. He replaced, I think, some of the side bolsters or some of the foam. The back seats, we actually flipped over the back seat because, sun doesn't hit it. And we tried matching something. It has like a little purplish tint to it. I didn't like it. So he replaced the, all the horsehair or whatever that's in the back seats, replaced all that. New carpet. I mean, you go inside of it and it smells like fresh leather, which that's what I wanted.
Love it.
Here's the thing with it is, if you didn't know it was brand new, obviously it is brand new, but the interior, it's so close to the original, but modernized.
Yeah.
So at a quick glance, you're like, man, that's just clean.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's so clean.
It's done the job. Yeah.
Yes. New dash. Headliner was great. So he didn't do anything with the headliner. Engine, carpet, and completely, I mean,
the sound editing, not carpet.
Yeah, sound editing.
You didn't carpet.
I'm new to air-cooled Porsches, not new to air-cooled VWs. Had like 20 of those, but and completely rebuilt the motor. Like everything is new on it. So I got it in and immediately put some cross-dual rotors on there, some rotors in the back, some new pads. The back rotors were kind of, he didn't do that. I didn't ask him to do it, but when it came here, I went ahead and did it for a rally that me and James got going on this week, which it will be the following week. And then I made an exhaust. I didn't make an exhaust. Actually, my boy Bert, who works for me, he does high-end exhaust, moonlights. He does Lamborghinis, Audis, and stuff. So
Nice.
I had a stock exhaust, and I did not like that. I wanted it to be loud, but not
louder
too
than
loud.
mine.
Yes. I don't know if it's going to be. We'll find out. But I still have the cats. So the problem that I saw was that it has a 2.5-inch catalytic converter, but everybody reduces down to 2.25. So I was like, why aren't we going 2.5? And I know why they do it. They do it for cost savings. So I went 2.5 all the way through. I showed you guys, we put a 4-inch tip. Everyone I saw had a 4.5-inch tip. And you guys, amongst other people, said too big. It looked very JDM-ish, fart can. So we actually just took a ridiculous.
I like big tips.
I know you did, but
you probably haven't seen one before, though, have you?
We already said I'm 250 pounds of screaming steel and sex appeal, dude. I haven't seen my tip in 10 years.
So I think next I'm going to lower it some. And yeah, I'm going to drop it all the way down, probably. Kind of like yours, James.
Yeah.
And I just
some of that good looking welding. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good looking stuff.
Kevin, don't forget it came with a little gift from your daughter there for Father's Day.
Yes, so that is a tool bag, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought it was a watch bag, and I opened it up, and I was like, "Well, this isn't a watch bag."
Pretty big watches
in there.
Yeah.
Yes. So it has everything. It has the compressor. It has all the tools. The tools haven't been touched. I actually made a mistake and tried to put air in the front tire to like prep for our rally. Well, I guess those tires, that's why they come with a compressor. There's no air in them. So you take it out and then you put air and then it expands.
Oh, okay.
I did not know that. And in bugs, you actually fill them in because that's what you use for the washer fluid is the air off of the tire. So I was like, well, let's just put this in, see if it, and Bert's like, I heard everything like creeping and crunching. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he took the air out. I made a sticker for it, so it says YSOC instead of RS.
That was good, yeah.
It says SC. When I say I made anything, I want to give props to my people.
Your crew.
Yes.
Yeah, my employees and my great staff. Actually, I'm like, hey, this is my idea. Make this, and they go, okay. And then I look at it, I'm like, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. But Bert put a great smile on my face when I heard the exhaust, man. It is freaking awesome. And now with the cats, once I get the cat delete, I think it will be even.
It sure would be nice to have a sound clip, huh?
Yes, but I have been busy, Casey. So I have been busy making.
Someone's working.
I hear excuses.
Someone has to tell his employees what to make for the car. So he's been busy.
No, that I do myself. So the Porsche parts I do myself, and we've been taking parts and kind of R&Ding them, and then taking parts that are already on the market and either improving on them, making them better. So I have a catalog of parts that I'm going to be releasing, but it's just been, man, with anodizing, you make a part, some of the parts are like 5-6 pieces. I have a lot of machines, but it's between that and my main business of making, since you guys don't know, I make scooter parts, or you guys know, but the audience doesn't know. I think
we talked about it once or twice.
Yeah. So
I think.
It's just been tough. And then you got to get it anodized, put them together, put them in tubing, put all the bolts, packaging them really nice using, what's it called? Like shrink tubing?
Yeah, shrink wrap.
Yeah. So it's going to be, so I was trying to get a lot of them done so I can have them on this rally and kind of peddle my goods.
Yeah.
But
sell your wares.
Yes. And Casey's been sending me stuff for 996, 997. We've been discussing some things and like, oh, what does this cost? And why isn't that looks like a pain in the ass? So been very busy, guys. Like
you do realize that once you get that 997 stuff, I am going to probably buy everything you manufacture.
Yes. And I got freaking progressive glasses, and I'm not used to these things.
But they look good on you, man. I have progressives. Yeah,
I do.
How about you, James?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
I just use my eyes.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Well,
Casey, you're not 40 yet, are you?
No, March.
No.
So on my 40th birthday is when I had to get glasses. I was literally at the mall and I was like, the fuck, I can't see shit. And with Savannah, and I was like, I can't see. And we literally went that same day, and I got glasses that day, and it would happen on my birthday.
And it happens, Casey, no shit, dude. It happens overnight.
Instant.
Like I was 45, and I remember being at work and no big deal. The next day I came in and I got a piece of paper in front of me like this, and I'm like, I can't read any of this shit. So it literally happens overnight, dude. It's insane.
How about you, James? Have you always had glasses?
I've been wearing progressive since I've been 5 years old. No,
wow. Really?
No, I've been wearing glasses since 5.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
But progressives, probably I was 35.
James was always an old soul from the
Well,
85.
you know, my
Absolutely.
my distance is perfectly fine. I have no issue. So my glasses, the top is pretty much clear glass. The bottom is my reading prescription. But for me, because I'm using a monitor all day and I'm reading and all that, it's just easier just to wear them all day than to have the fucking reading glasses and take them off, put them on, take them off. You know, so I just wear them.
Yeah, like I try to
All
take them
right.
off because my eyes are hurting, but
Yeah.
I
The only thing I do is I do take them off when I'm going downstairs because the reading part fucking fucks with me. And next thing I know, I'll do a head over heel and tumble down the fucking stairs. So, but,
All right.
real quick, Kevin, and the audience may know this by now, Kevin's our perfectionist. When he gets anything, he's got to redo it to like the fucking tits. All right.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm fortunate enough to get my SC, it'll probably smell like horse turds and be a rattle trap, but I'll be happy to have
Wow,
it.
Matt's
So,
on fire tonight.
I am.
I'll tell you what,
Man,
keep them coming.
Exactly. So, hey, let's do
Testy Matt.
our watch check, wristwatch check.
Who's up
wearing
first?
what tonight? I don't care.
I'll go.
You guys go, James.
Okay.
I will go. Let's see here. So I'll show this one here. This is a Seiko 6139 6012 chronograph from June of 1973. 39 millimeter case. And let's see. Share this photo of that.
That's
So
great.
I'm
champagne
assuming
dial
it's up there.
on a beer budget.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
What's
you
that?
go. Yeah, we're good. Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's good. No, it's beautiful.
yeah, it's champagne dial with a charcoal gray minute register, and the 6139002 6012 models come in a number of different faces. So it includes blue, black, gray, and an all gold version. So I can stop this here.
So
Is
that
that
looks
the original band?
No, but it does replicate the original
Right.
band.
So that
So,
looks like a
okay.
Bruce Lee. Is that considered a Bruce Lee? I mean, it looks
Well,
just like it.
It does, and what I've gathered is anything with a 6139-601X is considered a Bruce Lee. How true that is, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
But
I think the Bruce Lee had the circle band too, the little circles in the band. That's usually
Yeah.
what he wore.
it's all over the place. If you want to get into vintage Seikos, I really would start with the 6139 line. There are so many great looking watches in that line.
And for real,
All
I
different.
thought the true Bruce Lee had a blue face. Is that again not correct, or is that
I
theory?
believe you're correct, Casey.
Okay.
It's just that I've also read that anything in that 6139-601X, so be it a 2, a 3, a 4,
Mhm.
is considered a Bruce Lee.
Okay.
So I would say that's a pretty broad statement. I don't know if I would agree with that, since everyone's so focused on that blue face.
Well, that goes back to the Pogue. You know, everyone considers the yellow the Pogue, but I've heard the blue face considered the Pogue
Yeah.
as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
but that's
so
also
They call it blue
a
Pogue.
Severe.
Yeah.
Severe.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's my watch.
Love it.
Super minty and wears very well.
Here, I'll go next. So I tonight am wearing basically the tool watch of all tool watches.
There
I'm
you
wearing
go.
my GShock, and I've had this thing since 1993. So, and it still just takes a beating. It's got patina on it. It's been, diving. It's been all over the world. So it's just a great tool watch. I mean, what are you going to say about a GShock? There's 10 bazillion GShocks. They're all great. You put a battery in it, it keeps on trucking. So
What's
that's it.
What's
Nothing
interesting about the GShock is real watch guys love these.
Yeah.
Right? So as their daily, instead of wearing the Rolex or any of the other
You can literally
high-end
beat the
watches.
crap out of this watch. No issues at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because
And
I
who
see
didn't
people.
have one of these as a kid?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't have one as a kid?
No, I had a Swatch and a Surf or a Shark.
Yeah.
That's my watch that I had.
All right. Well, I had a G-Shock as a kid, and
Yeah,
I really
so-
liked it.
So I did not have a G-Shock as a kid. This was my first one in 1993. And of course, in 1993, I was already, 15, 16 years old. So, or 17. So, but I was like Kevin, I did have a Swatch as a kid. So,
Nice.
all right, who's next?
All right, I can give it a shot. This is my latest acquisition. I'm super excited, super kind of proud of.
Drum roll.
What's it? 6105 8110 rather. But I think
Ooh.
we call it a Captain Willard.
There's a Willard.
Super excited about it. It's pretty cherry.
Can you put it back on? Oh,
Yeah, what year?
All right, so I don't know the exact year. I haven't taken case back off to check.
Super minty looking.
But it is not a 68, 69, or 70.
it's
It's
a
post
71.
So why do you say that?
Because I know we got it. And
Okay.
Look on the back. There's no serial number on it.
My serial number,
I'll tell you what it
Is-
is.
Know where you got it.
it's a 120891.
So January 72.
Okay, great. There you
Yeah,
go.
the second
January
number with the
72.
yeah.
So this would probably be my oldest one so far. But anyhow, it's rather large. It's a 44 millimeter case. It wears really well. I'm super happy. I was a little concerned being 44 how it would wear, but wears probably well, yeah. I mean, it's great. It's no problem on my wrist.
Super comfy.
Really enjoyed it. Just had it a couple days. It's keeping phenomenal time. I think damn near perfect. So I'm stoked. Really excited.
Good, man. That's awesome.
That's a big box to check there in the Seiko world.
Well, it was a birthday present to myself. When the opportunity came up, I knew I had a list of kind of the divers that I was looking for or would be willing to jump on. And this one and the 8000, which would be the Slim Willard, right? I think I could be wrong. I'm still learning. But both those came available, and I took the chance on kind of the more grail type piece for my birthday.
That's good
Gift
for you,
to
man.
myself.
Happy birthday. That's a good one.
The collection is growing, Casey.
It is. I got a lot of spots in that box to fill up.
No shit. All right, Kevin, what you got, buddy?
Oh, okay. So
Don't get too excited there.
Look at that
Sorry.
fucking thing, dude.
I was trying to figure out. Let's see here. Let me zoom in here.
It's so freaking hot.
Need some light.
Okay, hold on. I can make that work. Hold on one second. Oops.
Let's go, Boomer.
That's good enough for you. Fuck it.
Dude, look at that thing, though.
Dude,
Okay.
Jewel
watch
encrusted.
is awesome.
Yes. So I had this watch made by the same guy who made the other watch that I showcased last podcast. So my car before, my Porsche before my 992 was 991 with Apple livery. So I wanted the rainbow colors. It's like a play off of the Daytona Rolex.
Yep.
So it's a Daytona Seiko. It is a quartz watch with the Jubilee band that I picked. Normally it comes with a different band, I'm trying to think what kind of band. I don't
Like
know
an
what it'd be
oyster
called.
style?
Yeah, oyster style band. Yep. So it's all PVD'd. I don't know. It's cool. Like, it's quartz. I'm gonna wear the shit out of it.
Just
The
wear it.
crowns do unscrew. So I try looking at cases and stuff like that to reference this. It's really just a modded Seiko. That's all I
Sure.
can really say. So
Yeah.
I'll just wear this. It wasn't too expensive at all. Naturally, those are not real garnets or anything like that, but it's a pretty cool watch. I like it. So
I like it too. I think it's cool. It's
Yeah,
different.
I would buy one if you didn't own it, but I want to be a copycat.
Yeah. So they make it in silver, but I want it black.
Mhm.
No, that's a pretty cool watch. We'll see. Everything does work, and it's a quartz, so it keeps great time. The movement's super smooth, almost like a Rolex. It doesn't do that tick, tick, tick. It's like a sweeping.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've been,
but
listen,
not a Rolex.
up until recently, I didn't own any Seiko quartz watches. They were all automatics, and I've actually
Until
been pleasantly
Christmas?
surprised. Well, yeah. Well, that the one Kevin got us was quartz, but then the speed timer I got, well, it was solar, but it's still a quartz. So it keeps great time. It's good.
Yeah, I
Good
like.
looking.
Yeah, Matt, I like the watches you've been grabbing lately. They're new, but they're sharp.
Well, at some point in time, they'll be old. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, so you got to buy it at some point, right?
Yeah.
So we were bebopping around some different topics that we want to talk about tonight, and we all kind of have been noticing in the news. And I want to start this off by saying that we don't want to be known as the anti-EV podcast, because we're not. I
I'm
actually
okay to
like
be known
EVs.
as that.
Well, okay, let me
Call Casey
let me
that. That's
roll
fine.
that back for a minute. Three of us have some respect for some of the EVs out there. One of us hates all EVs. So but it's all we just keep seeing in the news is different manufacturers dialing back on EV production, either going and producing more ICE engines or producing more hybrids. And so we're trying to figure out why are they dialing back. So I went through and did kind of a deep dive into the news. A lot of information from CNBC and other news organizations to try to figure out what's going on in the industry that would cause these manufacturers to want to dial back on their production. And there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that I was just unaware of. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. And you guys obviously interject if you have opinions or whatever. Just let me know. But I'll just start. That sound good for you guys?
Roll.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the first topic I found was in 2022, there was 400 billion spent worldwide on EVs. So we're talking, 2 years ago, not even a year and all of 22, all of 23, so 2 years ago. So 400 billion was spent worldwide on EV production. In August of 2023, it took them twice as long to sell an EV opposed to 1 year prior. So it had already really started, tapering back, even going, to the middle of last year.
But may I ask a question here?
Sure.
This is I'm sure that they didn't put this information in the article, but this is getting really deep in the weeds on statistics. But what was the time, and what did it turn to, and what was that compared to an ICE engine vehicle?
It did not say.
Yeah,
it did not say. So,
Okay.
and again, I'm pulling facts from just various articles. Literally, I have pages.
But you have multiple sources too. You're not just relying on one news source.
I have NPR here. I have CNBC. I have that's NPR. I have Axios. I have this is the Daily Mail. So so I have like literally lots of different sources.
All right.
So
Keep
so
it
those
rolling.
first. All right. So another third fact. So 53% of consumers, they did a poll, just asking people. 53% of consumers say that EVs are the future, but only 31% of dealers feel the same way. So dealers are not all in yet. Now, again, I'll make the caveat.
Why do you think it's just the marketing that the EVs are doing, and the dealers probably know more about the cars, their repair?
No, you know what I think it is? This happens commonly when talking about these sort of things or politics, is that people feel like they need to say one thing, but believe and act on something different. So
Right.
what did you say? 53 or 63% of the people feel like they need to say, oh, electric's the future. This is what we should be doing. But then when it comes down to their own dollar and what they're going to buy, what are they doing? They're not buying a hybrid, or an electric vehicle. They're buying a standard ICE engine.
True. So anyway, so 31% of the dealers felt, that they'd be the future. Again, some of the in the full article, some of them were saying, again, just infrastructure's not there yet. I mean, over the overwhelming fact, and we'll get to all this. Again, like we've been saying on prior podcasts, is a lot of people feel that everyone went all in on EVs, and really we should have taken baby steps, and stepping stones would have been hybrids, which we had, but then plug-in hybrids, then EVs, So over the last
question there though, Matt, is did everyone go all in because of the kickbacks from the government supporting all of that? So the government, U.S. government said, we're going EV. And by the way, we're going to change some EPA rules and et cetera, to make all these guidelines and such for these manufacturers to meet. So that's not a natural, that's a manipulation. Yeah, that's a manipulation.
No, there's no doubt that, the government entity has been a major push and continues to be a major push for EVs. That's blatantly obvious.
And is a problem.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, it definitely could be viewed that way. Over the last 2 years, actually in 2023, Tesla reduced pricing, which caused a major bidding war. All right. Lucid has produced so many vehicles that they're actually in financial problems now, having financial problems now. Ford came out and said that they're going to actually double F-150 hybrid production as they roll back on the Lightning production.
But didn't they take that away? We talked about that.
This was actually as of January 2024. The article that I was reading.
They were going to double Ford F-150, and then last episode we talked about, I guess what was that? 47% of the Ford dealers are not even going to carry the
well, no,
EV
they're going
cars.
to right. So they're doubling the hybrid, but rolling back on the Lightning. So they're doubling the hybrid, but rolling back on production for the Lightning, which is full EV. Right?
Okay.
That makes sense. Okay.
So this was a cool fact. So currently right now, so Q3, because Q4, Q1 of 2024 just started. So basically Q2 and Q3, so last half year of 2023, average ICE vehicles inventory sitting on, the lot. Average ICE vehicle inventory nationwide was an average of 52 days. So basically, if they stopped producing any ICE vehicles whatsoever, the nation would have about 52 days of supply sitting on dealer lots. The same thing for EVs, they would have 90 to 100 days of inventory sitting there if they didn't produce another single car.
Okay, so from that we can kind of answer your first statement, right, of how long the sales cycle is. It's so it's
3
twice
months.
as long currently to sell an EV than it is.
And again, those numbers could be skewed a little bit because, again, if manufacturers are producing more EVs or there's more EVs being produced currently, then obviously they're going to set longer. But there's no doubt that, sales have slowed to cause that influx of cars.
I agree, but the auto manufacturers seem to have a fantastic ability to really ramp up or slow down their production based on demand.
Well, and that's what, we were talking before we hopped onto the podcast, you and I, Casey, before the guys popped on, that, the manufacturers, like your Fords, like your GMs, like your Porsche, like, Mercedes, everyone that currently makes ICE engines as well as EVs will be fine. Because again, just like, if you're in retail and you have part-time and full-time employees, you can change the hours on part-time people to accommodate your sales growth or recession. Whereas, if you have making ICE engines and EVs, you can roll back on EV production and increase ICE production or hybrid. The ones that are...
I disagree with you, Matt. 100%.
Well, that's what Ford just said. They're going to double their hybrid production and roll back on EV production.
Right, but I don't think it's as quick as like, they can just do this because of the tooling, all the stuff that's in when you're dealing with manufacturing. I mean, you don't just hit a switch and then we're going to make this. On top of that, something that we haven't touched base on is a lot of these dealers. You're just saying 100 days. We'll just use 100 days. So over 3 months, now the dealer's paying floor plan for those cars sitting on the showroom. So I'm just going to say that it's going to take, if you got 90 days or 100 days, that's how long it takes to sell a car. So an EV car. that floor plan, I mean, it's per day that these people are and that the dealerships are paying, and that's hitting their bottom end. Like, especially if they have a lot of them, especially since, and I'm thinking, again, this is a speculation that a lot of these Ford dealers and other dealers that don't want to get Buick and stuff like that, they don't want to pay the floor plan because that's not their market. And that's what I think Ford said. Hey, they know their market. They're not going to, which is good for Ford and good for the other companies. They're not going to tie unfortunately, like Porsche, who is making their dealerships sell Taycans, making them sell these cars. They're not doing that. So, granted, I know there's a lot less Porsche dealers than there are Ford and stuff like that.
The other thing I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Keep going. I was just going to say the other thing that these articles are probably ahead of and should be taken into consideration is the slowdown of the economy in general.
Sure.
And I forgot the rest of what I was going to say.
Interest rates.
That's okay. Well,
I
guess
interest
my
rates
point,
definitely impact that as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
My point was going to be that, companies making ICE and EV
And he's
and
not
or
even
hybrid
40 yet.
engines. I know.
Not even 40, pal.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
So companies making all the different engines will be able to ride this thing out better than a company that's all in on EVs. So you take a Lucid or a Polestar or, some of these just pure EV companies, if this thing really starts receding, they could have some major financial impacts, to their company because, again, they have nothing else to fall back on.
It's true. And I agree with that. And I remember what I was going to say is that regarding the point of ramping up production on, say, hybrids or ICE engines versus EVs, we know that these manufacturers are not running at full capacity. The economy has not allowed them to run at full capacity. So I'm sure that at this moment, they're able to shift workers to different lines or ramp up one production line versus another. In this sort of market of trying to figure out and weigh which vehicle, engine configuration, etc., is going to be most advantageous at the moment.
Yeah.
And my question is to you three is, this is one of our beginning podcasts. Why is it all of a sudden that we are seeing on all social media platforms the anti-EV stuff going on right now? From the Tesla truck to we're not hitting it. We're looking at other people that are doing podcasts, and we're like, man, we already talked about that. And I know we don't have a lot of followers, but I know that James and I and Casey and Matt, we all talk about a lot of these things. It's like now it used to be it was everyone's so on board with EV. Now it's gone a complete 180, and we just found out, I guess now Tesla has to recall all of their cars because of a warning light. It's like I think 2 years ago, that wouldn't have been even a news blip. Now, all of a sudden, it's anything that's anti-EV, it's getting on the social.
Have they just not performed as expected? Is it really, has it let people down?
Yes.
It's like, okay, so if this car is going to sit here for 120 days on a lot,
yes,
right? It's going to sit 120 days on a lot. I mean, I also understand that they hold charges for months, but if you're on there for 3 months,
and that it only holds charge if the temperature is within range, and that's what we've seen thus far this winter, which has been a mild winter as far as I know across the country. And you have
there's been some big storms,
unlimited number of like videos you can find on TikTok and Instagram of vehicles just not working in the cold.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the facts.
We know that lithium batteries
facts.
suck in the cold.
Yeah, there's facts and there's also algorithms. So the more we're poking around, the more we're being fed. It's feed the beast. You hear your echo chamber. So you just got that's why I asked Matt if you were looking at other sources, because it's just like you got to go out and poke around. You can't just take what's coming into the feed.
So this was I found interesting. They did a poll. Listen, there's lots of different, polls and surveys and everything for car buyers. It's a big business. So they did a poll in 2021. 86% of U.S. car buyer consumers would consider an EV purchase. By 2023, that number had dropped down to 67%. So now we're not saying they're going to go buy one. They would consider it. So by 2023, the 86 had dropped down to 67% of buyers would even
So
consider
that's
an
20% drop.
Right.
So
And what about
again,
the 53 people that from another thing that said that they would buy, and it's good for the it was a good car to buy.
Exactly. Well, and what that doesn't tell us is how many of that 20% actually went out and bought one, and therefore they drop out of that survey of potential buyers. But it is curious that if the EV was in fact gaining momentum and taking over, that percentage wouldn't at least stay flat, because we know most people continue to buy new cars. So that number should statistically stay at least in the same range. 20% just seems like a huge deviation.
Well, but here's one thing we have to think about. And again, these are just news articles that I found out, different sources and all that. Not my personal opinion. I like EVs. I mean, like I said, I would be a buyer because not for me personally, but for my wife.
Kevin closed his window.
She's close by. So yeah. But to your point, Casey, what they were saying on the one article was that, so a lot of consumers, especially early adopters, went out in 2020, 2021 and really started buying these things a lot when they hit the market.
Right.
Well, now 2 or 3 years later, they don't need to replace that car. So now most households have 2 vehicles. They don't want to get stuck having 2 electric vehicles. So that's why some of the demand has dropped.
So that's the whole crux of the whole argument.
Right. Yep.
So even if you own a freaking EV, you still have to own an ICE engine.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment, for sure. Well, just to do the counterpoint here, Matt, there was an article in Car and Driver last month saying that, there's going to be ups and downs with the sales volume of EVs, but realistically, they sold 1.4 million last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they expect to do 1.9 this year. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. But
no, of course not. I mean,
that's, but there were 15.5 million sold overall last year as far as cars go.
Right.
Overall 15.5. So
million cars,
1.4 of those. Yeah, 1.4 of those were EVs.
Right.
And they expect it to go up to 1.9. And then, we just went through and we found a lot of information regarding these manufacturers pulling back. But then today, Ford announces that they're going to be developing a cheap EV platform. So they're pulling back on the pickup truck. Obviously, there is a range issue with those. That's the biggest complaint with the pickup trucks is the range. You can't use it for work unless you are going to a job site, sitting there all day, and then driving home. Say you're a track builder or something along those lines, right? But as an electrician or something along those lines that you're going house to house to house, it's not going to do the trick.
And may I ask a probably what would be considered a ridiculous question, and I fully recognize this, but in economics, sometimes you have to go to the very extremes to make comparisons, right? So when we had the vehicle first come around, and it was versus the horse and buggy, that was the standard, horse and buggy. When the vehicle came around, the infrastructure was limited. The roads sucked, right? They were all big ruts, and they were driving on wooden wheels. How long did that implementation take before a majority of transportation was done via car or whatever we called a vehicle at the time, versus this technology now, EV, which they are pushing on us so hard, versus a gasoline engine? Now you can hold.
I mean, you're talking hundreds of years,
right?
Well,
yeah, I mean
100 years.
No, not 100.
Yeah,
we're talking early
they're horse and buggy in 1500s, and then
okay,
tires were in 1910.
I agree.
No, but if you're talking about like 1890s, right, and then the automobile comes around to get out of the Depression, right? That's when we started doing roads and everything. So you're talking a 30-year cycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not quite to 30 years yet in this EV. I would argue maybe it's only 10 years old. So we have a substantial amount of time left. But I do think that we should hold certain things constant, but look at the adoption rate and see, is this truly something that people are going to do?
Right.
And you know, my argument early, say it's 1/3 of the way through, maybe not even 1/3 of the way through. I think people think this is bogus. And I'm sure you have an article, or don't mind me mentioning, that other types of fuels, I believe, for the ICE engine are going to be what comes about and takes over,
Sure.
i.e. hydrogen.
And I think it may go up,
Yeah.
but then again, I'm also seeing that it may go down now that a lot of employers are requiring their employees to go to. I mean, James is
office?
one. He has his employees have to come to the office now, and you know, we have a friend that he's looking for a job, and he has to go. He may have to go to. I'm not saying any names, but he may have to go to an office to get a job where he worked remotely for a number of years. You know, COVID hit. For me, there were some good things. I don't have walk-ins, which is great for me personally, because I don't have people taking up my time. But a lot of people are going back to the office. But then you look at one other thing where I saw where the markets of these commercial buildings have gone from like $91 million to like $40 million, and they sold a lot of them in like Colorado and stuff like that. So who knows? It may go. I think like for my business, you know, I started. It's a niche market, and I believe that EVs niche as well. And it went, and now I'm plateauing, and I'm going kind of steadying down. And I think as time goes by, maybe that may happen. I'm just looking at using comparison to business in general. When you start out, you can only go up, right? I mean,
I was just saying, you know, so it's in its infancy. It's going to continue to improve and get better with time. Technology always does. You know, they were saying that one of the drawbacks to some consumers that don't want to buy it is that, you know, right now the EV batteries are only warranted for 10 years. And even within that 10 years, they're only warranted to have 80% of their efficiency. You know, whereas, you know, cars have gotten so good nowadays that an ICE engine, you're going to get, you know, 20 plus years out of that without having to really worry about it blowing up on you. You know,
and is that battery prorated like most car batteries? You know, they're saying it's warranted, but
you're right.
After on year 9, are you getting a brand new battery? Probably not. You're probably getting prorated.
No, and of course, and we all know, you know, batteries are like $20,000 to replace. So
right. Well, what I was going to say earlier is that in order to get the adoption rate, literally this whole EV market was more of a .com startup, right? So it's all about, you got your burn rate in order to get people on board, right? You're just burning through cash. You're giving huge discounts in order to get people on board to buy, in order to generate that income to throw back into the company, right? So I think that's how that model has worked. Would it have worked in an open market? Casey can answer that one for me.
No.
He's going to say no, right? There you go. So it also felt that everything that people were working on as a substitute was literally blowing up and thrown to the side, and you had to go down the EV route. Now, the most encouraging thing I see is when Toyota's CEO literally comes out and says, our new hydrogen V8 engine will end the EV revolution.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes, please.
That's powerful words.
There's others. There's has to be other options out there.
And from what I've heard, and this could change or be actually factually untrue, because facts are optional as far as I'm concerned, is that a lot of the hydrogen type fuels are completely compatible with ICE engines of today.
Okay.
And they come in different flavors.
Yeah,
I love
candy
flavors.
flavors.
I love
Hot
flavors.
candy flavored fuel. Well, I found this interesting, and this is fact. So we all know
Says
Volvo.
who?
Well, no, we all know Volvo. Volvo makes a phenomenal vehicle. You know, Volvo had their Polestar, and similar to Hyundai and Genesis, they made the Polestar EV vehicle under the Volvo name. It was the Volvo Polestar. Then they spun Polestar off as its own entity, just making, you know, EV cars. And in Q4 of 2023, so just a couple months ago, Polestar reported a $735 million loss. to the point that Volvo has come out and said that they are no longer going to bail Polestar out. And they're so fed up that they may even consider turning ownership of Polestar over 100% to Geely. Geely is the parent company that owns Volvo. So they're like, listen, we're not bailing Polestar out anymore, and they're just going to turn over ownership to Geely, or they're talking about it. So that's a big loss. But again, that's what we're talking about when you have strictly EV and you start taking hits in the economy or if the sales slow. I mean, it's these cars are not inexpensive to manufacture.
And let's be honest, the Polestar is one of the best looking EVs out there.
It is. It's a great car.
Performance wise, they really worked on the suspension and the ride and kind of the experience of driving that we all enjoy. Polestar, from everything I've read, has been a stellar is a stellar vehicle. Outside of the fact that it's an EV, and looks good to boot. So I think that's a telling argument, and the fact that it's
where is that car on the market as far as price range? Is it on the high end?
No, yeah. So, and that's the biggest issue, So Tesla's working really hard at, with the Model 3 at bringing in an entry level price point. James just mentioned that Ford's doing the same thing, or going to do the same thing because they have to compete against Tesla. But a lot of these manufacturers, the Rivians, the Lucids, the Polestars, they're anywhere between $80,000 and $150,000. I mean, they're very expensive vehicles. Right on par with any other luxury
but they're
vehicle.
Probably quality vehicles compared to a Tesla,
no doubt.
Which we see, the steering wheel pleathers coming off and the cracks and crackles and stuff like that. But it's like everything. People are going to want something, but they want. I mean, I deal with it too. They want top quality for a cheap price.
Correct.
I mean, Absolutely. Go to Walmart and you can't have both.
Well, and that dictates to the economy.
I think
they're not going to Walmart. They're going to Timo now to get even more cheap shit. That is essentially disposable.
Yeah, I think another part of this is that a lot of the ideas of a particular brand come from the second, third, fourth owners. And if you're the second owner of an EV that's 5, 6, 7 years old and that battery life sucks, well, that vehicle automatically sucks, right? So I don't know if Polestars aren't even hardly that old. Like there's not that many of them out there, but you look at the other Teslas or whatever, when the second or third owner gets them and their battery life is 100 miles, 150 miles, or whatever the cut down is that vehicle is going to automatically get a negative connotation to it. And I'm sure that that's hurting, because as a non-new car buyer, second or third owner myself, and I get a car that's got 100,000 miles on it, that's 5 years old, right? That'd be roughly 5 or 6 years old. I can still drive and get that 30 miles to the gallon, or, whatever that vehicle is supposed to do. It still performs, if I buy correctly, the same way. You can buy correctly perfectly with a Tesla or a battery, and it still is going to have subpar performance, because that is just a natural chemical degradation over time.
And you can fix something if you do buy, case in your point, if you do find something that you can replace it, and then you're going to get back to the level that the engine, it may be like a battery water pump or something like that, which in a Tesla or whatever the car is
doesn't exist.
Strictly battery.
Right.
Well, look at the cell phone industry. I mean, listen, you have idiots like myself that go out and upgrade their phone every year just because they can. And then you have the majority of people that you ask them, why did you change your phone? Oh, it wouldn't hold a charge. Or, the vast majority is
well, let's be honest, Matt. Come on.
Exactly. Matt. Let's be honest.
Come clean. It's the fact that it was a fucking Samsung for the last decade.
Well, that's true. And plus I'm fortunate that I have an employer that, I expense my phone so I can change, and it's not a big deal. But the majority of people, they keep their phone for years and years, and when they finally break down to buying a new one, it's because they're freaking been holding on to charge for 3 or 4 hours.
Yep.
I mean, that's battery degradation. That's as simple as that.
It's true.
One more thing. I got some other stuff, but one more thing that I found really telling, and this really, when you boil this down, and I've said it on our previous podcast and all that, it just, in my opinion, I think EVs will be the future down the road. How far down the road? Who knows? But again, the establishment, the government, Big Brother, whatever you want to say, just kind of pushed it, whether it be with tax rebates or whatever, to the point that the market's gotten saturated and the infrastructure is not there. Some areas it is, a lot of areas it's not. So they did this thing. The top 10% of drivers in the U.S., which the industry calls super drivers. Okay, so the top 10% of drivers in the U.S. account for more than a third of the nation's gasoline use for private light duty vehicles. It's not talking about commercial, just private light duty vehicles. The 10% super drivers equal a third of the nation's gasoline consumption.
Is that an SUV? The majority you're talking about? Is that an SUV?
Just all, yeah. That's one of the popular selling. So either an SUV or a CUV, but most of those super drivers all live in rural areas with limited access to charging stations outside their homes. So again, until the infrastructure is there and they have, fast, level 3 charging stations in rural America, it's going to be really hard to get a good chunk of those cars.
And I'm sorry, Matt, I am going to 100% disagree with you that I do not think the EV market is the future because of exactly what you said.
Right.
That the cost of the infrastructure is not something that is going to be able to have the money invested or stolen from us, which is my perspective.
Right.
That where if we can fill these gas tanks with liquid hydrogen or some sort of liquid hydrogen that is able to be that comes from a pump that we can pump into our car, that is much easier to implement versus a whole new electrical grid, etc., and whatever the plug-in goes into.
Speaking of grid, we're talking about rural areas here. The internet's 30 damn years old, and there's huge swaths of this country that still doesn't have internet access.
Oh yeah,
you're right.
And then we're going to give them plugins.
I'm looking at your internet right now, and it looks like it sucks. I mean, even in South Carolina or North Carolina, rather.
South.
No, but I completely agree with you. Right? I mean, it's been an initiative of the government that everyone have high-speed internet for how long now, and we still don't have it because it's expensive. And I swear to God, if they keep stealing more money from me, I'm just going into the backwoods and
we're poking the bear. We're poking the bear tonight.
I have my mic off because I'm over here laughing. James can see me laughing.
I know. I'm cracking up over here. So anyway, that was the deal. I mean, I'm not saying that's the reasons why manufacturers appear to be rolling back on some production, but it could be,
it's a number of things. It's just a number of things that's happening. Right. I mean, infrastructure, pricing, quality, buy-in, holdback. There's a number
financing,
of
economy.
Yes.
So here's something that we talked about just as a little segue is we talked about this week a little bit about the prices of new cars and how much they're dropping in value once you purchase these cars.
Yeah.
So I have a Macan, and I'm part of a Facebook group on Macan ownership, and somebody had posted about how the values are dropping or plummeted is how they stated it. And I just saw so many people post about the amount of money that they have lost. I bought my 2015 S for $23K for 75,000 miles. No, I'm sorry, $23,000 with 75,000 miles on it. I think the original MSRP was 87,000. Right?
So, do you think that was because of COVID? And when did you buy this car?
No, this is somebody else's. I'm reading a comment.
He's just reading a post in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering too, is it because of COVID and stuff like that, and people were just gobbing up whatever they could. Because remember, we just came off of used car prices at the highest, and everybody was buying used car prices. So that probably is the issue. Because I mean, that was only 2 years ago, and all these people are bitching about it right now. Well, you bought in a shitty market. I mean, sorry.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. So you had limited amount of cars, right? So the used market went up, Then at the same time, you had free money, right? So you were buying it for 1% or 0.5%.
Yep.
And now you're talking 6, 7, 8%. And you want me to spend that on a $105,000 Macan GTS?
Yeah.
To drive it off the lot, and in 6 months, it's worth 75.
Well, I personally love this as the used car buyer.
As a
I fucking
consumer.
as a consumer, I fucking
Sure.
love when these prices fall through the floor. I will also say that
It's a correction.
the price increases are a direct result of the free money that was coming out. If used prices are so at X, then new prices necessarily have to be at X plus something or X times something.
Yeah.
And furthermore, having had a loaner Macan base over the last couple of days, no way in hell would I buy the vehicle for the price that is asked. It unbelievably expensive for what you got. And obviously, huge Porsche fan. The Macan is an awesome vehicle, and I will likely own one in the not too distant future. But it won't be a base. It won't be new, and I will not pay. This one was listed at like $75,000 for a base Macan. No way, not a chance.
Well, again, we go through and we gravitate towards luxury vehicles is one of the things that we do. And everyone knows you go through and you buy a brand new Mercedes or a brand new Porsche or a brand new BMW and you drive it off the lot. You're losing a big chunk of money right there. You go through and you buy.
This is specifically on Porsches that have historically held values better than anything else on the market. We're not talking Maserati that immediately drops 50% just by rolling the wheel around one time.
Well,
no,
but
I
Macans
disagree
never
with you
hold.
and
The Macans never have held.
And neither's Panameras. All of Porsche's volume vehicles never hold their value. They just don't.
I mean, the Macan or the Cayenne was 5 years ago was losing money just because of the maintenance.
Right.
Same thing with Mercedes. Every time Mercedes is just because of the technology. That comes out is so technological advanced that they're going to go ahead and they have something. It's just everything. I mean, my wife has one, love it, but you buy it for 80 grand, you drive it off like you said, 50 grand. So it's same thing with BMW. I mean, James knows this as well too. So I think that's just everything.
That's a luxury thing. I mean, you go buy a brand new $40,000 Honda Civic and you drive it off the lot. It's going to depreciate, but not the percentages are going to be completely different. There's certain vehicles that will hold their value. Subarus, Hondas, those especially things 40 grand and under. They're going to hold their value much better than when you start getting into triple digit cars.
Well,
right, because there's more people that want them. The supply is.
And I get that and I understand that. I will say that there's not very many cars under $40,000 anymore. Hell, the Miata is now over $30,000. And if you all remember, as a fan of that vehicle when it came out, it was 10, 11?
I think it was 18, I believe.
What?
The Miata.
Originally?
I think so.
In the 90s?
If I could be
I know it wasn't cheap. I know they weren't cheap because they were still convertible. Yeah. They were not cheap.
I'll look it up real quick. But I remember seeing them on lots for like 12 grand.
I mean, I had a 1996 Civic, and I think a Miata's older than 96, and it was $12,000, and it was a DX. So I think James
you guys
is right.
are older than I am.
Yeah,
this is true.
All right. So original MSRP of a 91, I just chose 91, was 15 to 19. So you're correct. There you go.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
But they'll hold their value to much better than a very luxury car. I guess that's the point.
100% agree.
And as a luxury car consumer, I'm not upset about that. It was like when I bought my 911. All right. I bought my 997 911. It was a 2007. I bought it in 2018, 2019, somewhere around there, and I got it for $38,000. Had 38,000 miles on it. So the sticker on it, brand new, and I have just a base Carrera. I don't have an S, base Carrera. sticker. I have the window sticker was $100,000, and 100 grand in 2007. And I told the guy I bought it from Justice, I was like, dude, no disrespect to you or the brand, but I would in a million years never spend $100,000 on this car. He goes,
Yeah,
well,
but you're buying a car though, Matt. That's 12 years old, right?
right, exactly. And he goes, yeah, he goes, well, I'm talking about new, even brand new. I wouldn't have spent $100,000 on this car. And he goes, that's because you're an enthusiast. He goes, you let someone else spend $100,000 on it, and you buy it for $38,000. So
True.
And it drives like a brand new car. It's in great shape. So.
Well, the value of money is just in flux too. I mean, everyone's getting paid more, so it's just. I mean, that's a whole nother topic. Anyways.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, I love for bread.
That's not this podcast.
Exactly.
No,
right.
we're not the boomer podcast. So.
But speaking of cheap shit that's easy to get is buying a car on Amazon. Who's up for that?
Yeah. We'll go for this real quick before we get out of here. So let me screen this. It came out in the news. Amazon's really pushing hard to start selling cars. Hyundai is the first one in to go for it. So literally you can go to Amazon right now. This is Amazon's website. And you can buy a brand new Hyundai right on Amazon.
I think this is awesome. And I hope maybe one day I can put this on my Amazon card to get my 5% discount cash back. But I also fear that this is a terrible idea for those that enjoy adult beverages and then go shopping.
Well, true. Because, I mean, honestly, we just finished talking about the price of cars, right? Now, granted, this, MSRP is MSRP. 3 in his cart. But literally, you look at here, 24 Tucson starts at $27,000. The Kona Electric, $32,000. The regular Kona is only $22,000 starting. So I mean, listen, I've bought dumber stuff online.
Thank goodness I don't take Ambien anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've bought dumb stuff online before. So 2024 Elantra starts at $21,000. So
dude,
I might get liquored up and then.
Can you imagine some stoner just waking up one morning and it's like a new fucking car in his driveway and he has no clue how it got there?
Stacy bitched about her car and I'll just buy her a new car.
I think it's the same thing that Carvana was doing. Whether you can buy it online, it's the same thing. It's the same platform.
I agree. I agree.
You pick it up at your local dealer. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So I was going to say it's a little different. They don't deliver it, So really, I guess what Amazon's doing is they're really partnering a lot with the dealer network and the manufacturer. So you go through, you build it online, all that, and whether they have to order it and ship it to the dealer or they find one of the same at a local dealer. But
is it any different than going on what we did on our last podcast? Go out and build a car. Right.
I don't think so. No, I think you're building her.
When I press that I'm interested in buying this, it's going to send it over to my local Porsche dealer. Is it
correct?
Really any different in the end?
I think in this situation, you're paying Amazon. All right. So
ease of access.
So you don't have to walk into, listen, a car buying process.
The negotiation.
A car buying process is not really, if you have money.
It's not fun.
Well, it's not fun, but it's not, there's nothing more frustrating than you finally get, the sales guy to agree to whatever you want to pay, never go in and try to say, I can afford this much a month. That's the worst thing you can do. But you get the car to where you want to pay for it. And then you get into the finance guy and he goes, oh, well, do you want to add this? And do you want to add this and this and that? Now your payment's going to be this. And it's just a frustrating process. Here, you're drinking a beer, sitting at your desktop, and you can say whether you want something or not. And you pay for it online and you just go pick it up.
Just like
Matt, try
no
it
one
out.
talks
Let
back.
us know. Don't check out, but see if it takes you to buy now and transfer the funds, or because I'm assuming you can't put it on a credit card. Just, the dealership's not going to lose 3%. Nobody does that.
No, I'm assuming that you probably either have to have built-in financing already, and there's probably something to put that in or whatever.
Credit check or something like that.
Yeah. So. Well, actually, listen.
But my question. Sorry, this might be stupid. I don't know what car salesmen make. But if you could just buy it now, do car sales guys make 3%? I mean, is it saving them money by sending it through Amazon?
I don't know.
Well, it's probably going to be like a online. You have a different. Usually, what I have found is the online manager, even though it's just they're usually the new person because you're just getting leads fed to them.
So you
for Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so go ahead.
Does the money go directly to the manufacturer and then the dealer who's delivering the car, their hope to make money is on service.
Or add-ons.
Right? So
yeah,
I
dealer
mean,
add-ons.
in this situation, maybe Amazon is acting as the dealer, you know, and so that's maybe the manufacturer's way to get it, you know, because the manufacturers all have dealer networks for a reason. You know, they don't want, you know, the U.S. doesn't want, you know, people. You know,
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
I don't think they're going to be the dealer, because then that would mean they would have to sign up every state, do the dealer registration, and the person
they're
has
just
to go to the training for that.
They're probably
It's just a sales-
getting a
a sales
fee
lead.
for a sales
Yep.
lead or a purchase, a sales purchase.
And you know, I guarantee you, when you order it, you're going to come in. It's not final yet. You still got to talk to the finance guy. Oh,
Probably.
you didn't add this. You didn't add that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just a lead generation, just like James said. When you go to the Porsche, you know, it's I don't know. Matt, let us know how it works out.
Yeah. I'll play around with it. We'll see.
Can't wait for Christmas.
So-
Matt's giving us cars.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah. Hyundais, but
That's fine.
I'll take it.
You're all getting a Kona electric.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yep.
I'll run it into
Then
the
we
wall.
watch Casey burn it down.
All right, fellas. Well, we got anything else tonight before we get out of here?
No, I'm going to bed.
You look worn out, man. You look beat. So, all right, guys.
Cool.
Well, listen, thanks for tuning in. As always, first of all, thank you. Go to YouTube, like and subscribe, please. We're trying to grow that audience. It's growing slowly but surely. Check us out on our website, whiskeyWatchesWheels.com. Hit us up on Instagram. Reach out to us, email, contact at whiskeyWatchesWheels.com, or just hit it up on Instagram if you got any suggestions or anything that you want us to cover, any questions. Other than that, y'all have a phenomenal evening. We'll catch y'all next week.
Thank you.
See ya.
Later,
EVs
guys.
suck.
Bye-bye.